Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
So what's his story anyway? I mean, I never see him around.
Not during the day, anyway.
Oh, please, don't tell me he still lives at home. Like he has to wait for his dad to get back before he can take the car?
Cordelia, I think his parents have been dead for a couple of 100 years.
Oh, good. I mean... What?
Angel's a vampire. I thought you knew.
Oh, he's a vampire. Of course, but the cuddly kind. Like a Care Bear with fangs.
It's true.
You know what I think? I just think you're trying to scare me off because you're afraid of the competition. Look, Buffy, you may be hot stuff when it comes to demonology or whatever, but when it comes to dating, I'm the Slayer.
Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 6, titled Halloween, directed by Bruce Seth Green, and written by Carl Ellsworth. And the original air date was October 27th, 1997, to an audience of, big leap, 5.88 million people. Last week was 4.77.
Oh yeah, we're coming into the boon of this show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, it was a Halloween episode, so people were like, let's check this out. All right, vampires, spooky stuff, let's check it out.
And our prediction, they hinted at my prediction from last week, which was, I was like, I want the Halloween episode to be one of the down episodes where like nothing scary happens. All the demons and creatures take a break. And that kind of was true.
It kind of was. You were kind of half right.
I was thinking the same way there, it's like, St. Patrick's Day. You're not going out and drinking with the new, you don't have to go hard if you're a normal drinker. If you do cosplay, you don't have to treat Halloween like it's I don't know. Just,
yeah. They even call it out.
Yeah.
They even call it out in the episode. I think Buffy's explained to Xander, Giles says Halloween, nothing really happens. And Xander's like, what? It seems like the day that most stuff would happen.
Yeah. I was like, that's so perfect. At least they were thinking about it.
I mean, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this. And you know what? It's a lot of stuff that I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah. And I commend any listeners who have watched the show and are listening to us react to stuff with the knowledge that they know and knowing that we are way off on why is this person doing this? And then they're like, you dummies, you haven't watched episode 86.
This fucking guy thinks Seth Green is a lizard person. Just listen to our dumbass predictions.
Yeah. But we appreciate all of our listeners, and thanks for riding this ride with us again. And if this is your first time watching the show, you're getting the same experience we are. So.
Oh yeah. All right, shall we get into it, Vance?
Let's do it.
All right, so this episode opens up with a little recap of who Spike is and what he does, and I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah. And then we get very little Spike.
Yeah, it really was like, oh, okay. All right, we got Spike in this episode. We like Spike.
Yeah.
But then the actual episode opens with Buffy fighting a vampire in a pumpkin patch, and there's another voyeur vampire recording it all, which was so funny to me. Because he's got his like creepy vampire demon face and like a camcorder from like, 1997.
And we know they don't have to have vampire faces the whole time.
Yeah.
Is that just like, oh, I'm a better steady cam holder? I can just hold the camera steadier when I'm a vampire? My arm doesn't get tired?
They didn't have in-body image stabilization back in the day, Vance. But it's also hilarious, like, the idea of these ancient demons that, like, are so evil and sinister operating a camcorder. Like, it's just so quaint and funny to me.
I would love to see the scene of them going into, like, a Radio Shack and buying that.
Yes. Like a proud parent filming their daughter, like, well, all right, we're going to film Killing the Slayer. All right, here we go.
Okay. I tested them all, testing it out back in the warehouse.
Yeah. Spike, kick really fast.
Okay.
Not only do they have to steal the camcorder, they have to steal all the tapes.
Mm-hmm.
They have to steal batteries for this. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Buffy kills the vampire, and that's that. And then the camcorder vampire's like, all right, we got the footage.
Yeah.
Then Angel's at the Bronze, and Cordelia comes up and talks to him, and she's basically like, oh, that my date, he stood me up, and what are you doing here? Also, Angel's wearing a light blue button-down. Bad news.
Yeah, I mean, this works a lot better than that beige jacket he has, but, like, I don't know, it's just not him. I don't know.
Well, it would have been different if he had the black...
he needs something over it. Yeah,
he needs a sport coat.
Yeah.
Because later on in the episode, he has a white button-down, but he's got the black suit coat.
Because these are high schoolers in the 90s. You gotta have a sports coat.
Yeah. But he and Cordelia are like hitting it off. Like she's making jokes and he's laughing. And she's basically like, well, my date stood me up. And he's like, oh, I'm waiting for Buffy. And she's like, oh, looks like you got stood up too. So might as well just kind of cozy up together.
Yeah, he's laughing at like really non-funny Cordelia stuff too.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see it, you're like, of course Buffy's going to see it and be jealous.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. Buffy walks in and she sees them two chumming it up. And she's like, ugh. And then Angel's like, Buffy, you're here. He goes up to her and he's like, oh, where were you? And she's like, oh, I was fighting vampires. I'm a slayer. And he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, I probably look like shit. Sorry for being late. And then she's like, you look really nice. And he's like, oh, thank you. And she's like, well, I know that we're supposed to have a date, but I'm bailing now. It's like, you already showed up.
Yeah, well, Cordelia comes over and makes fun of her hair. And Buffy's like leaving just because she sees Angel talking to Cordelia, who they all know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's just talking to some random girl.
They killed the master together.
Yeah.
Like, she was a part of that.
Yeah, if she sees him sitting there, it's not crazy for Cordelia to sit down and say something to him.
I mean, Cordelia sacrificed her car to drive it through the high school.
Yeah.
During that epic battle.
And it's interesting how low Buffy's self-esteem is, because you would think she'd be a lot more confident being the Slayer.
Hey, man, 16 years old, those hormones, they're all over the place.
But it's just like knowing that she could just beat up anybody in that room.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, maybe that's just a guy thing. I just think like she would have the confidence of being like, yeah, I'm the shit. I can go over here, and I'm friends with a vampire.
Yeah.
Who wants to date me.
A hot and sexy vampire.
Yeah. And then like, yeah, Cordelia comes over and makes fun of her hair. Which she keeps making fun of her hair, which I just don't get, because Buffy looks fine.
Yeah, even
for fighting,
Angel's like, yeah, you look fine.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I got a piece of hay in my hair. All right, I gotta leave. And I'm like, come on, Buffy, like you shown up. You guys went to the Bronze after killing the Master. You were wearing a tattered white dress and you had been soaking in water. Like, come on, and this little, I mean. Angel doesn't do anything to deserve her walking away. It's not forced enough for her to walk away from me here.
Well, it's also Angel's a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my hair looks rough. It's like, yeah, but he slaughtered 200 people or whatever for hundreds of years.
You can't look at the sunset. Like, yeah.
the pickings are slim for Angel. You know, he does.
Angel, you could have any girl you want at night,
right? So stupid. So then we got to the high school, and Principal Snyder is like forcing people to volunteer for this chaperoning of children in the community for trick-or-treating thing.
Yeah, when he grabs that girl by the arm and strong arms her over, I'm like, oof, that does not fly. Right? That's doesn't rough, fly at all.
That was wild.
Yeah.
But, of course, Buffy and Xander and Willow walk by, and Principal Snyder's like, there's the delinquent I've been looking for.
There's the nerd and the geeky kid and the girl who saved the school.
Yeah. Here's this person who I have been quoted as saying is potentially the worst student in the school. Let me force her to chaperone children.
I know we found out something about him and he has some involvement with the police and the cover-up, but I do not get his motive here when he's just calling her a delinquent and, like, I don't know. Like, does he...
Hey, let me put other kids, other parents' children's lives in your hands, even though I think that you're, like, this evil, bad person.
And are these kids whose parents aren't around to take them out trick-or-treating? Is that the rule? I don't know what they were saying, but this seems...
I mean, it seems like every kid in the high school is chaperoning like 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah, and I'm like, normally what happens is like one parent or a couple parents will take out a bunch of kids.
Yes.
But you don't say, hey, here's a sign up of high schoolers that I don't know.
You wouldn't want those high schoolers doing this anyway.
No.
Even if it wasn't like the worst kids in the school. Like, yeah. I wouldn't want high schoolers taking care of my kids.
Oh, the school where everybody goes missing? Great. Yeah, here's a younger kid. Go for it.
Yeah. The school where everybody dies. There's been multiple dead bodies found at the high school. Yeah, here, take our children.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It's an accelerated program for the school. It's like, if you can survive this Halloween, you might survive high school when you get
Sunnydale High. Yeah. Principal Snyder forces Buffy to join it, and she's like, "No, I got carpal tunnel. I can't sign up." And he's like, "No, you're signing up." So then they're complaining about that, and this is where we get Xander asking, like, well, isn't there like a bunch of vampire stuff going to happen on Halloween? And Buffy's like, no, Giles said the Halloween's actually like pretty quiet. And Xander's like, what? Why? It was like the most logical thing. Yeah. And then he says something like, man, vampires, they're always confusing me, dude. Like, I don't know what their story is.
This is a good Xander episode.
Yeah. So then he goes to get a soda, and for some reason it's not coming out. And I think his name is Laird.
It's Larry. I had to look it up, but they only call him Lair. Okay. Like Xander's like, Lair. Hey, Lair. Okay. And I was like, is that short for Larry? And I just, Amazon has the little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's Larry. All right. Good. We got it. So Larry comes up and he's like, hey, man, are you like dating Buffy? And Xander's like, oh, I mean, I wouldn't say that we're dating. We were friends, but I'm hoping to blossom it into a relationship. And then Larry is just like, so you're not dating her? He's like, well, no. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to go see if she's interested in me because I heard that she's fast. And then Xander goes, I hope you mean like the wind. And then he goes, oh, no. You know what I'm talking about. And then Xander stands up to him and he's just like, hey, man, that's even if like she's not dating me, that's my friend. Mm-hmm. You can't talk about my friend like that. And he like grabs Larry, and then Larry's like, dude, I'll beat the shit out of you. And then just as he's about to beat the shit out of Xander, Buffy comes up from behind Larry and just hits his head into like the soda machine. Mm-hmm. And then Larry walks away. And then Xander like gets pissed off at Buffy. He's like, you made me look like a pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, you made me look like a sissy. I have a lot to say about this scene. One, Where's the rumor of Buffy being fast coming from?
Yes, dude. Yes.
Like, who is spreading that rumor? Is it Cordelia? It has to be.
It has to be Cordelia. Like, because no one, like, she hasn't hooked up with anybody.
She hasn't even been in a social situation that would cause you. They were like, oh, she went to a frat party that got busted for demon worship. Like, no. Like,
you know what happened? Everybody saw her sexy dancing with Xander. And then everybody saw her sexy dancing with, who was it, Angel? She did sexy dance with somebody else.
Well, that was at the frat. Well, no, the sexy dancing was with, who did she? No, the second sexy dance was Xander with the mummy girl. And then she danced with someone at a frat party. So maybe it's just from the Xander sexy dance that one night. Okay. But then I don't even know if that would be considered fast because it's with the guy that she's around at 24/7.
True.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought about, and I didn't think about it till later in the episode, is when Xander's flipping out about like manhood and being a sissy because she stopped him from getting in a fight. My thought was, wouldn't getting beat up by a girl be worse than having a girl stop you from getting beat up?
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely make Larry look more of a sissy.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Like, how does that make Xander look worse?
Yeah, I think it was more of like a thing of like Xander was like, I'm going to be heroic and stand up for Buffy.
No, I get the story point. But like, if you're watching that, you're like, wow, dude, that girl just kicked your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, damn, Larry.
Yeah, like, you're a big guy and she's small. Like, and I don't know what Slayers are.
But yeah, it was like such a switch with Xander.
Oh, man, yeah.
Where he like just flipped out on Buffy like, way to go. You just ruined my manhood in high school. Everybody's going to think I'm such a pussy-ass punk bitch, dude.
Yeah.
And then Buffy's like, all right, sorry.
Yeah. I do love her reaction. Like, she's learned how to just brush off, like, his chauvinism.
Yeah, because, like, she sits down with Willow immediately after, and they're both like, Xander being Xander.
Yeah, like, that's a problematic dude at times.
Xander and his ego, fragile, masculine ego. Yeah. Anyway, how'd your date with Angel go? It didn't go because I showed up looking bad and I saw him with Cordelia and it made me all jealous. And then Willow's like, you know what we should do? We should read Giles's private diary about Angel.
Yeah, I was like, and they're like, she's like, oh, I don't know a lot about Angel. He's not forthcoming. I've only known him a year. And I was just like, this is the first time you guys are thinking to read up on Angel.
Yep.
And later they have to go and try to sneak the book, right? But I don't think you need to sneak the book.
No, just ask Giles.
Yeah, Giles, half the time you guys are all sitting there reading books together.
Yeah, and I don't know why Giles' stuff is like so private, like it's a secret diary.
Yeah.
Like, he's the Watcher. He should be sharing all of this information with Buffy. Like, she's getting involved with Angel very, intimately. And he knows that he's like this vicious vampire. Like, he should definitely be warning her about all of this stuff.
I'd be like, Giles, would you do my math homework tonight? And I'm going to read about Spike. Like, honestly, that's my trade-off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that should be happening. Yeah. But then we don't get this silly... Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen type scene.
Yes, that's wow. That's exactly what it is. It is a Disney Channel original sitcom. All right, we got to get something out of mom and dad's room, and you got two siblings, and they're going for it.
Yeah. One of you distract Giles. Yeah. Buffy's distracting Giles. I heard, why isn't there stuff about vampires going on? Tell me more about... you're planning. Miss Jenny Calendar thinks you're a babe.
What? But I was about to turn my head to look at my office for no reason. Oh.
Giles, look at me when I'm talking to you. Meanwhile, Willow's sneaking in the back to steal Giles's private Watcher notes.
Does he live in the library? Like, does he not take a lunch break? Like, why? Can't you just check it out later tonight? Like, I don't know.
Apparently not. But yeah, then Buffy distracts him by saying Miss Calendar thinks he's hot, and then he gets all, what do you mean? What do you mean she thinks I'm a hunk of burning what? Thinks I'm a babe?
And all of this becomes super questionable when we find out what we find out later.
Yeah.
Because he's doing stuff when no one's around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Willow eventually steals the book, and then Buffy's like, all right, I gotta go, bye. And then Buffy and Willow are reading the book in the girls' room, and it's like talking about...
Can I say, they're sitting on the sink, the shot,
Yeah.
and I'm like, those sinks are going to fall off.
Dude, that was exactly my thought.
It's two of them. Like, I was like, what are these welded to? There's like two full-grown people. Because they're not even like young teenagers. They're 20s, the actors, and they're sitting on the sink. And I'm just like, how is that not falling?
I would have zero faith in sitting on that sink.
Zero.
Even like just to like your butt could bump a handle and then your ass is all wet.
Yeah, like you can lean your weight on the sink, but you can't just sit on it like that.
Maybe you can, and we're just like too paranoid about it.
Maybe I've seen too many movies and people just rip those things off too easily. I don't know.
Vance, let's go to a high school and sit on some sinks.
Yeah, let's post a test on it. We'll post it on our Instagram page. Us testing out.
I think that one of us would equal the same weight as Willow and Buffy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it would easily break under our weight sitting on it.
Yeah. Dude, thinking about doing that, like thinking about making that video for the Instagram is making me super paranoid. Like I'm going to break my tailbone.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Didn't Daniel Craig's James Bond in Casino Royale like bash somebody's head through one of those? I
mean, there's so many scenes. Like, I mean, Batman and Superman, like he like smashes. Yeah, but whatever. This is a random tangent, but that's the only thing I can think about when they show that shot and their feet are dangling from the sink. They're not leaning on it. Yeah. And
I think both of them are on one sink.
Yeah.
That's so wild. Like, how do you even fit? Like, how? Never mind.
Yeah.
This is getting this. Anyway, they're looking at the Watcher files, and apparently the Watcher files are just like Angel's Black Book.
Yeah. It's like it's got drawings of people that he just randomly knew.
Yeah, it's like, hey, check out this chick Angel used to hook up with.
Skip over all the murders and slaughters he did.
Yeah, no. Here's who he was banging back in the day.
It's like, oh my god.
I loved it.
And then Buffy's all like, she sees the girl in the dress, feels completely insecure about like a 1900s, like
the 1700s.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, man, I wish that I had crazy gowns and big poofy hair. And then Willow's like, don't be jealous of this girl. Look at her. She's a freak. She's so ugly. She's got such a tiny waist. And she's like way too hot. And Buffy's like, you're making me feel worse.
I do love that Willow's like, I would prefer to be able to vote than have their like be a 17th century woman. Yeah,
exactly. So then Cordelia busts into the bathroom and she's like, hey, Buffy, shame that you left your date with Angel last night. I was able to keep him company and give him everything he wanted. And it's just like, wow, that was not.
I'm like, Cordelia, like, this is the one person that saved your life so many times. Why are you being so antagonistic to her?
Yes.
Like, I just don't get it. It's a big school. Pick on anybody but these two.
Yeah, they had like a trauma bonding experience. Like she just saved her in the last episode.
Yeah.
She did say that she hates them.
It's fine. You can hate somebody, but they keep saving her life.
Yeah.
Like,
she just saved her from getting eaten by a giant snake man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just recent history. Like,
yeah.
But she's like, so yeah, I was able to hang out with Angel after you. And then Willow's like, you know that he's a vampire, right? And Cordelia's like, you guys are just jealous. He's not a vampire. You just don't want me to get close to him. You're unbelievable. And you might be hot stuff and the vampire slayer. But when it comes to dating, I'm the slayer.
Yeah, I was like, And Buffy looked like that hit her hard.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, all right, see how that works out for Cordelia.
But I also love that she just like doesn't care or doesn't believe that Angel's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, whatever, you're just jealous.
And I will say, knowing what we know, it's really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because Willow earlier was like, oh, Angel would never fall for Cordelia. That's not his type. And I'm like, they do a series together. I don't know what happens in it, but...
Yeah. So then we cut to Buffy and Willow getting ready or about to be ready for Halloween or shopping for Halloween costumes,
no,
right?
They're at the Halloween store.
Okay, yeah, they're at a Halloween store called Ethan's Shop, which we've never seen before. And Buffy is like, Willow, for Halloween, you need to get wild. Because Willow has this like ghost costume that just covers her from head to toe.
Yeah. Buffy's point here was really, she's like, Halloween's a time when you get to be someone that you're not. So it's the only time you get to be a super sexy lady. Like, yeah. And I was like, that is not the meaning of Halloween.
Yeah.
And I know that Halloween turned into sexy nurse, sexy mummy, sexy whatever. But it's like, that's not the point. Yeah. I mean, the point is not, it's silly anyway, but yeah, it's, you don't need an excuse to dress the way Willow dresses later.
Yeah, which we will get to.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, don't be dressing head to toe and covering yourself up. Show off some skin. Be everything you're not. Be a hoe.
Yeah. Just like, not the best. I'm like, this is not the advice I want Willow to take.
So then Xander shows up and he's got a toy gun. He's like, I'm going to be a military guy, whatever. And then Buffy sees this, Victorian era, 1700s style big dress. And she's like, this is what I'm going to wear to impress Angel. And it's like, so by your logic, the opposite of you is this super, super covered up ball gown woman.
You saw a 200-year-old drawing of something, and that's like saying a caveman would be like, oh, that person's covered in like buffalo pelts or something, what?
Dirt.
Yeah, like, no.
What's up with all the women these days? Nobody's covered in pelts.
Yeah, like he's been alive and around the whole time. Fashion changes. It's not like if you were born, like you're in the 70s, like, man, if only a girl walked in with bell bottoms on. Like, no, that's not how this works at all.
Yeah.
And
that's the way it works in Buffy's head.
Did you think that this dress was the actual dress from that time period or something?
A little bit, especially after the guy that runs the shop, Ethan, shows up and he's all creepy and he's like, you can just pay whatever you want for this. I would never want to keep a Halloween costume away from such a pretty princess.
I've never been more happy that Xander and other people were in the room.
Yeah.
Because this guy, it just creeps her vibes right off the bat. Like she's staring at it and he comes out of the back room.
Yeah.
Like, and just is, yeah. Oh, and I think we missed, like, Xander is going to go as, like, some soldier or whatever. And they make amends with their whole, like, hurt. Yeah. She says, next time you get in a fight, I'll let you get beat up. He's like, all right, cool.
Well, it's also, like, when they're making amends, she, like, puts her chin on his shoulder and stuff. And she's like, next time I'll let you get beat up.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
We were starting to see a little bit of something between Xander and her. And now it's completely gone.
Yeah. I mean, even later on in this episode, I was like, oh, maybe this will be some like Xander and her stuff, but no such luck. So, after they get their Halloween costumes, we cut to Spike watching the fight footage. She's doing some reconnaissance.
That setup, man. They got like 4 TVs.
Yeah. And they're all facing different directions.
Yeah, like
he's just like circling them, like watching it.
Well, you know what he did say? He does like watching TV. They at the end of his first episode, they were like, "Let's see what's on TV." So they must be having movie nights or something.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then Drusilla shows up, and she's speaking very for as cryptic as Angel is. Drusilla shows up and she just spouts nonsense about like, even Spike is like, what are you talking about? Like,
well, at least hers, I feel like, is more useful.
Well, yeah, because it seems like she had a vision, and I love this too. She's like, something is going to go down on Halloween, and Spike is like, what are you talking about? We never do anything for Halloween. Like, that's like our night off. Yeah. Like, give me a break. Yeah. Like, we're trying to kill the Slayer every 364 days a year. Like, can we have Halloween off? Yeah.
She comes in, she enters the scene and says something like, do you love me inside and out? Do you love all parts of me inside and out? He's like, yeah, it's the entrails. They're
eyeballs to entrails.
Yeah, they're a weird whatever they are, man.
Yeah. But she apparently has had this vision that something's going to go down on Halloween. And Spike's like, all right, I mean, I guess we don't need to take off. I better be getting paid overtime for this. But so then we cut to what is going to go down. And there's this big altar and there's this like blood sacrifice. And it's the costume shop guy. And he's got like cuts on his palms. He's got like stigmata and he's chanting and putting some kind of curse on something. And he's worshiping some kind of idol.
Yeah. Once I saw the back of the statue, I was like, oh, that's the Janus statue. And there's Janus films. Like older movies, like, and it's like a two-headed statue with like, or two-sided statue. It's like one face, like kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing.
Okay, that's interesting. I'd never heard of this before. So
yeah, I recently saw another movie that actually talked about that. And then anytime you watch like a Criterion film or something, there was like Janus films. They did a lot of like high quality prestige films and stuff. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. That's interesting. Glad that we're both hosting this because I would have just been like, that's some weird statue, dude.
I mean, Giles mentions it later when he comes in. Yeah.
So anyway, Buffy's dressed up in the gown that she bought for Angel to impress him. And she's got a big brown curly wig. And she doesn't look that bad. She looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
I mean, I can't see this wowing Angel, and it doesn't really, but yeah.
But what we can see wowing everybody is Willow showing up in like a crop top and a leather skirt and a choker, and her hair's up like Buffy. And I was like, number one, wow, Willow looks fucking really good. She's got like abs. She looks good. Number two, what is this costume?
You know what's funny about it? Looking at it, it's like the future. It's almost like a little bit of the future Buffy outfit. You know that classic Buffy in the pants and that like red leather thing that she wears? It's like not fully that because it's a lot more mid showing. But yeah, it's kind of like a precursor to like the later Buffy in a way.
But I was just looking at it like, yeah, I mean, Willow looks really good and sexy and like that's the point of this. Mm-hmm. But if somebody's like, what are you dressed as? What is she going to say?
Yeah, it's not like a sexy something.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, Cordelia is wearing like a sexy cat outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, what are you supposed to be, Willow? She'd just be like, the opposite of me.
It's like, oh, okay.
I mean,
she just looks like a teenage girl, like going to the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's Cordelia, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So Xander shows up to the house of Buffy Summers, and Buffy opens the door, and he's like, wow, because he made some kind of comment earlier. He's like, I prefer tight spandex, and he sees Buffy in her gown. He's like, wow, I take back what I said about spandex. You look amazing. And then Buffy's like, wait till you see Willow.
Yeah.
And then we turn, and Willow's coming down the stairs, and she's got her head-to-toe ghost outfit on because she's very self-conscious.
And it's just this boo across the chest.
Yeah, and Xander and Buffy are like, oh, okay. Wow, Willow.
Yeah. Oh, and I will say Buffy's costume is a good Halloween costume.
It's a very good Halloween costume. Because you can be like, oh, okay, you're a Victorian. Oh, Xander, even though all he bought was like a little toy gun, he's like, oh, okay, you're a military guy.
Yeah, fatigue,
what was Willow?
That's a good question. What was Willow?
Aside from, I guess, scantily clad woman. Like,
yeah, you have to know Willow to know that that's the costume.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we go to the high school, and Principal Snyder gives the children over to Buffy, and he, right in front of the kids, he's like, bring back all of these children in one piece or you're expelled.
Yeah. And then she goes to say hi to the kids or something, and he goes, nope.
Yeah.
And I was really confused.
Well, I think it was like, didn't he say before, like, you don't even talk to these kids, that I don't want them to have your terrible influence. It's like, you could have avoided this whole thing without having her do this.
This is, his character is just, I don't get him. At first I thought, okay, this will be great. He'll be a nice comic foil for them. It's like, they're trying to be sneaky and do something that saves the world, but they got the principal on their back. And I'm like, this will be fun. Now he's just like aggressively mean when they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I could see them taking a test, him busting in there and be like, what are you, cheating? And they're like, no, dude.
It's like they're alone in the room.
Yeah.
I know you're up to something.
You got an earpiece in. What's happening?
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
So yeah, that was very, very odd. Then Larry shows up to bully Xander some more. Mm-hmm. Cordelia shows up as a sexy cheetah and to talk to Oz, and she's like, hey, is your dumb friend Devin going to be at the show tonight, or is he going to stand me up like he always does? And you know what? Tell him that I don't even want to see him and I don't want to talk to him, and in fact, don't tell him any of this. And then Oz is like, so what was the point of all of this? What do you want me to tell him? And she's like, tell him nothing. And then walks away.
Yeah.
And then Oz says something like, where can I find me a girl like that? And then turns around and runs literally into Willow. Mm-hmm. And then they both apologize to each other like 4 times.
Yeah, she's dressed head to toe in the Boo costume, so you can't really see who she is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, they were so close to meeting each other.
I know.
My first thought was, Oz goes to their school?
Yeah. I thought Oz was in college because I thought that Devin was in college.
I thought Oz just was, I didn't know what he was. I did not think he was literally in the school because his classic line is, who is that girl?
Well, it was from the episode where Cordelia was like talking about dating college guys, right?
No.
Oh, you're right. It was from the Inca mummy girl. So yeah, she's not into. Well, then she was cheating on Devin anyway at the frat party, or she was trying to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, then we cut to Xander coaching the kids up on how to get extra candy, and I loved that.
Yeah.
He was like, you cry. You can have a risky thing of like, oh, you missed me, you didn't get me yet. That's risky, but we're going to try and maximize all of this candy getting.
Yeah, Xander's like the big kid that you want to go trick-or-treating with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like the cool cousin that you're like, oh yeah, let's hang out with Xander.
Willow,
he's got all the video games.
Yeah, Willow you don't want to go trick-or-treating with.
No.
And Buffy...
I could see Buffy being good with it.
Buffy's fine, yeah.
Because she goes trick-or-treating with the kids, and then they get toothbrushes, and she's like, this is some bullshit. Like, we need to go and get some more candy. Like, you cannot be getting toothbrushes, dude. Yeah. I think Buffy and Xander are more alike than like.
Yeah. I feel like Xander will go to the extreme to get the candy, but Buffy is like one of those people that like can be serious but be playful also. And I think Willow would just be like, I don't know, let's go.
Yeah. It's like, oh well, tooth health is important these days.
You know, I would say if you're gonna give toothbrushes for Halloween, you have to give a great candy with it.
You have to pair it with candy.
You got to pair it. If you pair it with that, it's like, all right, they're giving like toothbrushes. Screw them. But they're given full size candy bars, king size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I strive to be.
Mm-hmm.
So then we cut back to the costume shop guy. He's casting a spell and it's getting serious. He's like, all right, stuff's about to happen. And then cut back to Buffy and the wind is picking up. Things are getting more ominous. A bunch of little kids are at the door of an old lady and she's like, oh, you look so cute. You look so great. Whoa, I just ran out of candy though. Isn't that a shame? And then a kid who has like horns on, his whole face gets taken over as like a goblin. And then he just starts choking this old lady.
I know. I started cracking up because it's the funniest thing.
Two kids just picked this old lady up by the neck like they're the Undertaker.
Willow's like, hey, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid is strangling this woman.
It was so great, dude. Like, it was so fantastic.
I was like, all right, this episode just saved itself. We're about to get into some fun stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, whatever you're dressed as, that's what you have turned into. So Xander turns into like this guy who thinks that he's like in the military. Mm-hmm. Willow turns into a ghost. All the kids that are dressed up as demons have turned into demons. And then Buffy. Also Xander's toy gun turns into a real gun.
With real bullets.
He's like shooting it.
Yo.
He's like killing children, probably.
Yo, I wrote this down. I was like, is Xander shooting kids?
That's what I was like, oh my God, dude.
I was like, only in the, like,
I hope this is
even
just
in the
like,
90s, this is still, I mean, now it would be like, no way.
Yeah.
Kids in the same shot as the guns, but like,
I hope this is like that hyena episode where he like doesn't remember stuff, but he did remember the hyena thing,
and he remembers this too.
Oh, I think a little bit.
No, they said they remembered it at the end.
Right.
I wrote down this question, but it kind of answered itself later. I was like, if Willow didn't put on the ghost costume, what would happen to her?
She would become the Slayer.
like because is what she's wearing something they bought at that same store, or is this something else?
I don't know. I think it was just like Buffy's borrowed clothes.
Okay, yeah. It had to
be. But dude, like,
yeah.
I could not get over her abs. Like, she's got the center line. Like, she looks fit, dude.
She's very thin. She's very fit. Yeah, she's on TV. Everyone did their workout for season 2.
True. I mean, Xander did too. I mean, you can see he's looking buff.
Xander's going sleeveless as much as he can.
Yeah. But yeah, Buffy turns into a 1700s lady and she's just absolutely worthless. Like, she passes out. She's like, this is too much. And then
she could have done a better job feigning. That feint could have been funnier.
I guess they didn't have crash pads, so she was going hard onto the actual ground.
They had crash pads.
I don't know, dude. Bro, we're finding out a lot of stuff about Joss Whedon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely was thinking, the news has come out about like more Joss Whedon, and he's refuted some stuff in a really weird way. And I was hoping we weren't going to have to do a Joss Whedon controversies thing like we did with Lena Dunham for the last podcast, but we're going to have to. There's no way we can.
Check out our previous podcast, Boys Watching Girls.
They're going to be like, oh, you did Lena Dunham, but you won't do Joss Whedon. It's like, no, we got to do Joss Whedon.
Oh, we'll do Joss Whedon. It won't be nice.
We're just waiting for more facts to come in.
Yeah.
it's an ongoing story. But yeah, when the principal grabbed that girl by the arm, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Who directed that move?
So the thing is, too, with everybody becoming who they are, nobody remembers who they are in real life. So Willow knows that Xander and Buffy are Xander and Buffy, but Xander thinks that he's a military guy. He doesn't recognize himself as Xander.
You can call him a soldier.
Okay. I don't know why I keep saying military guy.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
He hasn't ranked up anywhere.
Buffy doesn't recognize herself as the number one Buffy, number two, the vampire slayer. Mm-hmm. So Willow's like, wow, I am screwed right now. Like, this sucks.
But Willow can walk through walls, which is awesome. She's got the like, she's just her normal body. She's not a floating white sheeted ghost. She like stands up in her sexy outfit and walks out of the costume.
You know what's wild is nobody dressed up as like a superhero or like, you know, Spider-Man or Superman or like, I don't think that many people dress up as demons during Halloween anyway, you know?
You might put on like when you get that cheap mask and you're like, I'm just going to put on a black t-shirt and a mask and just go around.
Yeah, I remember doing that like maybe one, but I was dressed up as like Power Ranger and Spider-Man and stuff.
Yeah, you would get a lot more of those, but that's when you go to the other place we find out.
Yeah,
you don't go to Ethan's specialty creep shop.
Yeah, you don't go to Party. I think it's Partyville or Party Central or something.
Party City? Is that what it is?
Well, Party City's the real one.
Yeah, they had
in the episode.
Name,
it's like Party Town.
Yeah.
So Xander is very courageous as the soldier, and he's like directing people like, hey, let's get out of here. We got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. He's protecting everybody. He's shooting. And we learn later that he's shooting to scare, not to kill, because like just him shooting like up into the air would like fend off the monsters or whatever. Yeah. Cordelia isn't affected for some reason. She's dressed as a sexy cat, but she's still Cordelia. Mm-hmm. And Xander saves her as well from a giant
Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, it was like a Yeti or something.
Yeah. I was like, that we need to see a fight between. Yeah,
I know. Like that monster looked super cool, but all we got was like the silhouette of it.
Mm. We didn't even see like its chasing, face. And then like we didn't see. Yeah, it was huge though.
Yeah,
I want to see Angel punch it.
Yeah, but we didn't get to see that. We were robbed of that. So then we see Spike walking around like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. I like this. Yeah. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So then Xander and Buffy have a moment about like bonding over their amnesia because they're in Buffy's house and they see a picture of them together and be like, because Willow explained like, look, you guys have amnesia. You don't remember who you are, but you guys, we're all friends. And they're like, I don't know this lady. I don't know you. But then Buffy, they see a picture of...
Did you catch that joke that Buffy has? I don't have amnesia. I bathe once a week or something like that. Or once a day. And I got to say, I'm Xander as military guy. Xander's military guy. It really works. And it's funny. And he's doing a really good performance with it. Buffy as turn of the century.
Yeah.
Fair lady,
pretty rough.
Yeah.
Well, she has a line later where it's like, I am a woman. I'm just supposed to be pretty and let men do everything and hope that one of them marries me. And I was like, wow, really hitting it on the head there, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's like, I get the line and that could be funny. It's just like the deliveries just weren't, she couldn't pull off the accent and I don't know. It just didn't work the way Xander being like a cartoonish soldier was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at this point, this is when Xander takes off his jacket and like wraps it around Cordelia. Mm-hmm. And this is what I was like, dude, Xander's looking jacked. No one should be saying this guy is ugly. Like he's a
Buffy walked into the Bronze with hay in her hair and had to leave.
That's true. So embarrassing.
You don't understand. They're in Southern California, Sunnydale.
But yeah, anyway.
Larry thinks he has a chance with Buffy.
Yeah, Larry looks like he's 42. He's a big bulbous idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they're like, maybe we are actually all friends. Look at this picture. And then Buffy's like, no, I'm not friends with any of you. Then Angel shows up and he's like, what's going on here?
Angel walks in and he's just like, oh, good, you're all fine. I'm like, any agency, you just like walked in the back door.
Right? Did they not have locks at this house?
Yeah.
But
he might have a key to Buffy's though.
Yeah, and I think that Willow explains to him, like, they have amnesia. They don't know who they are. And he's like, what? And then something else is like trying to break in, and there's a clatter at the door. And then Xander's like, everybody go out there. I'm going to check it out. And he shoots out the window. And I was like, damn, dude, this guy is going to murder a child. Like,
but that's what he says. He's like,
shoot to scare, not to kill.
He's like, big noise, make bad guys run. And she's like, oh, okay. But at that point, I wasn't sure if the gun had real bullets, because one time we heard it, but that one you were seeing muzzle flash. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. So then Willow's like, you know what? I gotta go tell all of this to Giles. Xander, you protect him. Angel, you protect him. I'm out. She walks through a wall. And it's like, hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
And it's that classic effect shot. And like, where Cordelia's like, who died and made her boss? And then Buffy has like it wasn't as big of a reaction as it should be to seeing someone walk through a wall.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of weird stuff is happening, but a person just walked through a wall.
So Willow goes to Giles at the library, and she's like, hey, man, a lot of crazy shit's going on. And Giles is like, how did you walk through a wall? Because you walked through a wall to get to Giles.
Yeah, which is so good.
Then a demon breaks in to walks in because the door is just open. And Angel looks at it and he's like, I didn't leave that open. Yeah, you're the only one that locks.
He's fighting a vampire, though.
Yes. This is a vampire that's dressed like a 1700s vampire, too.
Yeah, I was really confused. Yeah.
So Angel like subdues it. Buffy's like panicking, and Angel's like on top of this vampire, and he's like, give me a steak. Give me a steak. And then Buffy's looking around, and I swear to God, I thought she was going to give him like a steak like the food.
How? How do you not do that joke? It's low-hanging fruit, but you set it up, and she doesn't know anything, and she just said the line that I'm supposed to just marry someone. And I was like, oh, she doesn't really know what a refrigerator is at this point. So I don't know how she's going to find it. But like her tossing him a steak, or I think the best visual comic shot would be you see him wrestling, and then a steak just hits him in the back of the head.
Yes.
And you just hear that sound of it hitting him, and he looks at it and then looks at her, and she's like, what?
Yep.
Like, just do it. Just do it. Who cares? Like, let's get goofy with it.
I would have, if you would have paused that and you're like, now bet $500, is she going to give him a prime rib or a wooden steak? What do you think it's going to be? I would have been like, I would have been out $500
easily. I would have said, let's double down on this. I was like, yeah, where's she going to find the steak? And she grabs like a knife.
Yeah. That's not a steak.
Like, I don't even understand what she's even thinking, grabbing that. And then, yeah.
And then Angel turns around and he's got his vampire face, and she's like, oh, double fuck this. And runs out screaming, and Angel's like, ugh.
He's like, Buffy, well, whatever. I don't need the steak. I am a really strong vampire.
Yeah.
Like, can't you just fight him?
I have a question about this. So basically anything in this universe can be used as a steak. If he grabs a steak...
It has to be wood.
Oh, yeah. Wooden steak. If he grabs a wooden steak and then gets a splinter, would that kill him?
No, it has to stab you in the heart. It's not just like...
No. Not true, because we saw at the pumpkin patch, Buffy stabbed the guy in the stomach.
No, they're claiming that's heart. Because when Darla got hit with an arrow with the crossbow, she's like, you just missed my heart. Like, there's been times where people haven't gotten their heart. And the heart's in the middle-ish, and they kind of play around with where exactly it is.
I don't know, dude.
They get stabbed in the back through the heart. That's the rule.
Yeah, but
you can't stab them you can't stab them in the arm, and that's it.
Yeah, but the other rule is that they're not allowed to enter a place where they're not
invited. That's
already
been debunked.
That's an Angel busted into the
They just made a mistake on that one. They wanted it for an episode, and they were like, we can't keep having people knock.
Just did this episode, and you just hear frantic doorbell ringing.
Can I come in? Just stop it. Come on, stop it. I need you to say emphatically, I can come inside. If you don't say I can come inside, then yeah. So no, like they just were like, no, we're not doing that every time.
So then Buffy runs away. We cut back to Willow and Giles, and then Willow's like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. It seems like everything that everyone was dressed as, they turned into. And then Giles looks at Willow like up and down, and he goes, so what are you supposed to be?
Yeah.
And Willow's like, well, I'm not even dressed that bad. You should see Cordelia. She's dressed as a cat, but she didn't change for some. Well, Giles goes, you mean that Cordelia has turned into a feline? Mm-hmm. And then Willow goes, you know what? No, actually, she didn't. She's actually Cordelia, and she knows everybody. So why is that? Oh, it's because she bought her costume at Party Town, and not Ethan's like all of us.
Yeah, I'm like, Willow, why didn't you figure that out immediately?
I don't know. I guess she needed to walk through walls, dude.
Yeah. Just walk all the way across town. Because you can't really touch anything either.
That's true. Yeah, she can't turn a page. Mm-hmm. So then we cut to Spike, who has a fantastic plan. This guy is king of good plans.
And he can hear things from really far away.
Yeah. So Xander and Buffy and Angel are walking down the street, and it's basically said that like Buffy doesn't know who she is and doesn't know what's going on, and she's like a worthless 1700s girl. She's not the Slayer right now. And then Spike turns to a team of demons that he's collected, and he's like, did you hear that? We can kill the Slayer right now, and she won't even be fighting back because she doesn't know that she's a Slayer. And she's like this pathetic 1700s woman. Like, dude, let's kill the Slayer, and we don't even need to fight the Slayer. And I was like, I literally wrote down, great plan by Spike.
Towards the end, I was hoping that Spike would not go through with the plan because it wouldn't be fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he would be like, no, I'm going to take her down when she's full force, not like just bluthering. But Yeah.
So then Buffy somehow like runs away. She is running away, and we see her like behind a truck and a dumpster or something. She's like hiding, and then Larry shows up dressed as a pirate, and you all know pirates. They are no fans of consent.
Yep. I wrote down in my note, Larry's a rapey pirate.
So he grabs Buff and he's like, hello, Poppy.
he's also like, I got this costume from Party Town too. I don't know what.
Yeah, he has no idea about any of this curse stuff.
He just happened to find Buffy.
So he's creepily like getting up in her grill, about to like smooch on her and probably more. And then Xander shows up and like, he like pistol whips him. He pistol whips him with the gun and then just beats the shit out of him. And Angel's even looking at him like, go Xander.
I mean, he is working Larry. Yeah. And a military guy versus a pirate guy. Military guy's gonna get it.
Yeah. And like after he beats the shit out of Larry, he says something like, I don't know why, but for some reason that felt like closure for me. Yeah. And we were like, all right, hell yeah. And then Giles and Willow go to the costume shop.
This is where we kind of I interrupted over that, but like they discover that all the costumes are from Ethan's, and Ethan's is the one that does it, so they got to go to Ethan's.
So they go to Ethan's. Giles is there, and he goes into the back, and he's like, this is where he finds the head of, what is it called again? Giannis or something. Yeah. And then Ethan pops out from behind the corner, and he's like, oh, hello, Rupert.
I think he doesn't say Rupert though. I think he comes out. I didn't think he
does he say Ripper?
He says Ripper. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Giles is like, Willow, leave this place. You need to leave right now. And then Willow's like, okay. And then it's revealed that Ethan and Giles have this history. And it's like, Ethan's like, oh, they don't know who you are, Ripper. And Giles like takes off his glasses and starts cleaning them. He's like, Ethan, don't fuck with me. How do you turn off this curse? And Ethan's like, oh no, I know who you are, dude. You can't do this shit with me. And he's like, I will fuck you up, Ethan. And we're like, what the hell's going on?
I wrote down like, he's got a secret. Giles has a secret, and this is awesome.
Yeah,
this
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that Giles is like a secret badass.
It won't make any sense when you go back.
It won't. It will not.
Because what I was saying is, he is doing his like shtick when no one's around. Babe, I could go for that. If you're a badass, you're not doing that once they leave the room. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, who is that for?
Yeah. But anyway, so we kind of skipped ahead with Larry getting a beat down from Xander. But after Xander beats down Larry, Spike shows up with his gang of demons from around the corner, and then they start chasing the gang.
Chasing is a loose term. They slow walk after them. Yeah.
Purposeful, menacing walk.
Yeah. Like, we want to catch them, but on our pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they start running away from Spike and his demons and stuff. And then we cut back to Giles and Ethan. And it was a weird, like, repeat of a scene, I feel like, where Giles is like, don't mess with me. How do you break the curse? And then Ethan's like, oh, don't mess. I know your secret. And then Giles just beats the shit out of me, like, very handily.
And my thing is, Ethan, do you not have a plan to stop someone from fist fighting you?
Right.
You just turn the whole world into, like, you just curse all these costumes, and you can't handle a guy punching you.
Nope.
Like,
he gets taken down pretty easily.
Yeah, it's like one
Giles.
punch on the ground just being kicked.
Yeah, and then Giles is like kicking him while he's down. He's like, how do I break the curse? Boom. How do I... And then Ethan's just kind of like, just break the statue, dude. Like, aren't you the Watcher? You should know stuff like that.
And I'm just thinking, like, Ethan... Like, obviously, Ethan just wanted to get caught and just let him know he's there or something. And just having fun with this, because there's no way that you name the shop Ethan's shop. Yeah.
Well, apparently this Ethan guy, we'll get to that later. Hold on. But yeah, then Xander tries to keep the demons out by putting like milk crates in front of his door. Like, the door closes, but you can see immediately, like, there's an entrance. I don't know what warehouse they're in, but it's very flimsily locked.
My favorite thing was when Spike showed up, they were like, go find a warehouse to hide in.
Yeah, that's where Spike lives.
Yeah, like, all right. And then they're like, find another entrance. Like, there's this 80-yard dialogue in the background. Like, I'm just like, you're vampires. Just kick the door down. Push over Xander. He's supposed to be a soldier, but he's still a human. You guys are supposed to be strong.
Strong demons.
Yeah, it's 5 of you, and he's holding back everybody.
Well, he only holds them back for like 10 seconds. And he's like, I can't do this. Everybody run.
He runs. Everyone, and you have to do this in these shows, but it's always funny to me. They walk in, and they don't just start chasing after him. They stand there and look around, and then wait for Spike to walk in. And then Spike looks around, and then they go after him. I was like, all right, that's a way to give him a head start.
So then the demons capture everybody.
They don't show that. Yeah, right? They just cut to it. They just cut to it. Everyone's like captured.
Well, it's like, okay, even if Buffy's worthless right now, Xander has been kicking ass all over the place, and Angel kicks ass all the time.
And isn't like, Willow there?
Yeah, Willow's a ghost.
How are they holding her back?
No idea. But she can't really touch anything anyway.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, Angel and Xander are subdued, and Cordelia is, of course, subdued because she's worthless, always. And then we cut back to, and then Spike has Buffy, and he's about to bite her. And then just as he's about to bite her, Giles breaks the idol and it takes the curse away. And then Buffy wakes up and she's like, good to be home. And then just starts beating the shit out of Spike.
Well, he pulls off her wig because I guess he's holding her hair. And the wig, I guess, became her real hair.
I have no idea.
Because then he pulls that off and he's like, what is this? He also knows Buffy's not a brunette. So that seems... And Spike is taking his sweet time biting her.
He very much is.
And I thought he was going to have a second. I thought this was going to be a moment where he's like, no, this is too easy. And just stop. Because I would have respected the hell out of him for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, now he just seems like, now he's just incompetent vampire again.
Yep. Because Buffy wakes up and just like punches him twice and kicks him once. And then he scurries away. Like, why not continue the fight?
I wrote two things. One, he tried to fight her head up in the school, like without like her not having any powers. Like he was just going to fight her and kill her, and almost did. This time she gets her powers back, and all of a sudden he can't do anything.
Maybe it's because there was, Angel was there too. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I was so disappointed in him when he like ran away.
And I'm
like, at least fight
Buffy.
for a little.
I'm disappointed in Buffy. This guy tried to kill you multiple times, and you're just gonna let him run away? Like, this is the one you stop, man. I don't know. I'm like, hey, we're chasing after him tonight. This ends the night. Like,
yeah. I mean, just Spike, just fight for a little bit more.
He's like, oh, she's got her powers back. I'm out of here. Like, what is your plan, guy?
Hey, dude, the rest of this series, she's gonna have her powers.
Drusilla said one night only.
Yeah. That's what happens. Spike escapes. Ethan escapes somehow after Giles broke the statue. Because he like turns around and Ethan's gone.
Ethan, you could have gotten up at any point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then everybody's like, wait, where's Willow? And she wakes up in her ghost costume and she has like this new confidence and she like trashes the ghost costume. She's like, I'm going to be the sexy girl now.
I had questions about that.
Yeah, I didn't understand what happened there.
There is no point where like, and Xander says, oh, I can remember stuff. It was weird because I was in my body and I could remember it, but I couldn't change it stuff, right? But he doesn't go like, where was Willow? And she looked hot. There was no, like the soldier didn't look at her and say, oh, you're hot. Angel didn't see Willow and go like, hey, you're hot. Cordelia didn't go like, whoa, Willow, you're really working. No one said anything about her outfit except for Giles to be like, what are you?
Yeah.
So there's no reason for her to get confident. And she didn't do anything to save the day besides figure out, oh, is that Ethan's? And they had to leave immediately.
She didn't do anything to save the day more than what she normally does. Yeah. Like she's always saving the day.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know where she got the confidence from to just like trash this and be like, I'm going to be a hot girl now.
Yeah, you would trash the thing that is cursed by some guy. Like you wouldn't be like, I guess I'm not going to put on the ghost costume anymore that killed me.
Yeah. But anyway, she's walking across the street and Oz drives by and he goes, who is that girl?
Yeah. Why? Because the first time he saw her, she was in an Inuit Eskimo outfit.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. I mean, yeah. He
says Eskimo.
He says Eskimo. And all you can see is her face.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, who is that girl? That makes sense then. Yeah. Now there's a girl walking across an empty street. Oz is just, I guess, driving and avoided all the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
had to get to his gig.
Is the gig starting? Is it ending? Where's the rest of the band? Whatever. And he goes, who is this girl? I'm like, do you not want to like lean out the window and say, hey?
No, he's not going to catcall. He's a man of honor.
No, like this girl looks lost.
Well, it's also like now we know that he goes to the school.
Yeah. And I didn't go to a big high school. So I don't know what it's like to be in a high school and like be like, I've never seen this person before ever. Sunnydale Sunnydale is big enough and Willow is so under the radar, but I feel like Buffy gets into enough stuff that you would just see her.
Well, especially as he's connected to Cordelia, who's connected to them.
And they go to the Bronze all the time. Yeah, exactly. Like he has an easy introduction to her. It's not like he's on the fringe.
Yeah, and I mean, she's known like in the science fair, at least. Like I didn't go to a big high school either. Like there was probably 500 people in my school, and like 120 in my class. And there were people I didn't have classes with, but I kind of knew and recognized people like, but Oz does not.
Does he not like just recognize the other redheads in the school? You know, like,
isn't that a superpower redheads have?
Like, you're like, all right. You just give him a head nod when you walk past, like, all right, I see you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Angel in Buffy's bedroom, and Buffy's like, here I am, dressed as a regular boring old 20th century girl. And Angel's like, why did you think I liked those girls? Like, they were all stuck up assholes, and I didn't like them. I like you. And then they kiss. And I was like, wait a second.
Exactly.
Hold on. I thought that you guys weren't dating. And then you did have plans for a date. And then you bailed on the date. And then he was like smooching or cuddling up to... Like, what's going on?
Unless we skipped an episode somehow. The last thing we saw was them go to Bronze. And she's like, hey, maybe we can get coffee sometime. And she's like, yeah, maybe sometime. This episode, they got dates planned at the Bronze. And they don't have to go on that date. But they can still make out in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, when did that jump? Like, that jump needs to be
televised.
Like, I don't know. They seem like they like flirted and we're like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then all of a sudden it's
like, no, hey, dummy, they're in a relationship.
Yeah. They've been banging for like 6 months. I'm like, what was she talking? Why is she still spying on him and trying to steal a notebook to find out about him?
Yeah. Yeah, that confused the shit out of me.
Yeah, like I could see if they just like had a kiss somewhere and it was like, okay, finally this is happening. But that was like established relationship stuff. Like she's in sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like
she was worried about the hay. Yeah. Now she's in sweats and a cami. Yeah. And she's like, hey, here I am looking real doofusy.
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever. Smooch, smooch, smooch.
Yeah. And I guess she does not fear being bitten by a vampire while making out. Because that's what I think about every time I see it.
Yeah.
Just an accidental lip bite.
So then we cut to Giles, who's returned to Ethan's store. And Ethan's store is abandoned. All of the wares are gone. And there's just a note that's left there that says, see you soon, Ethan's shop. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to figure out what's up with Giles.
That ending shot of Giles looking up menacing. And they call him the Ripper. And I was like, is Giles somehow Jack the Ripper?
It's so cool if he is.
That'll be insane.
I mean, my prediction, I predicted this like a while ago, and I'm still sticking with it, is that Giles is somehow going to die, and Willow is going to become the Watcher. But this confirms my, is Giles evil? That'd be quite a twist.
I feel like he's in the show for a while. People like Giles too. I don't know.
Well, we will see this Ethan guy again because he has a full name, Ethan Rain, and on Wikipedia he has his own page. Like he has I can hover over his thing and click to go see his what he's up to.
Oh yeah, I mean I had no doubt that he was coming back.
Yeah, so we're gonna get some kind of something gonna pay off with this guy.
It's just a nice twist, and it's like one of those things where we've been saying, why is he training Buffy? He can't fight. And we don't see him fight, but he does a couple moves on this guy. And we're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He easily subdues Ethan Rain really easily. And then they're like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, where was this during the training?
Yeah. And I'm like, why do you keep getting knocked out at the end of every fight scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like a weird time to pretend to still be nerdy Giles when your life's on the line. I don't think it's going to work when you think of it backwards, but going forward, I'm intrigued.
Yes, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the episode. You got anything else that you want to bring up, Vance?
No, I just wish Spike would have taken the high road and got out of there. Spike wasn't cool.
Honorable fight.
Yeah, Spike is still cool, still like his vibe, but he didn't blow it out of the park this one. He didn't hit it out of the park in this one.
I think his plan with the demons was good, where it's like we can kill the Slayer without actually having to deal with the Slayer. I was like, that's a great plan.
But then, that was the plan right when he started walking around. Like he didn't.
Yeah. But then he took his sweet old time, as villains do,
mm-hmm.
and then he like scurried away like a little coward. As soon as Buffy woke up, I was like, "Oh, come on, Spike."
Yeah, this gets into that like cartoony, or I'm trying to think of other shows where you have the same villain over and over, and they always fight, like those Batman. The Batman animated series where like, oh, you're going to fight the Joker, you're going to lock him up, and he's going to be back out whenever you need him, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like, just I would have been fine with it. Just fight a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it was like a 2-punch sequence, and then he was like, I'm out, dude.
Yeah, it felt like the episode ran out of time because we didn't see how they got Xander and Angel, because military guy Angel or Xander as the soldier was really fun, and would have been really fun to see him get captured and say something. I don't know.
Yeah. But that wraps it up for this episode titled Halloween. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Boys Watching Buffy, if you want to write in, BoysWatchingBuffy@gmail.com, and stick around for the next episode, which is titled Lie to Me. We got any predictions here?
I'm going to say this is Cordelia coming to terms with Angel being a vampire.
I'm going to say that somebody's got a curse that's kind of like liar, liar, where they can only tell the truth or they can only lie. Something like that.
And I think my backup, because it could be something with Giles, but my backup will be Buffy's mom finds out about her being a Slayer or something.
Oh,
let's just do it, man. I know we got
rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I know we got 160 episodes left, but let's just...
What's the slow burn about mom finding it out? Let's get it over with.
I mean, we found out that Angel was a vampire in 5 or 6 episodes or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Stick around for next week's episode where we talk about Lie to Me.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.